that are unique. First of all, we are not a government organization. Much as we love them, we don't, so far, we don't take money from the Air Force. And so those of you who may be familiar with the National Space Foundation or what have you. And then we advocate, especially in the U.S. government. And I think this year, come on in, you guys. Come on in. Bing, 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 bing. I was just saying that I'm Bill Nye, and I went to Cornell, and I had Carl Sagan for astronomy, and that's how I got into this whole thing. And when you look around this room, you'll see books by really the world's foremost authorities on space exploration. I mean, many, many books by astronomers and astrophysicists, but also a lot of books by rocket scientists. People have been in this business for a long, long time. And earlier today, I was at the California Science Center with Jen was there, Matt Kaplan, our radio guy. You listen to Planetary Radio? Sure, we got podcast is the way most people listen. And Emily Lockdewall, our blogger, she's fantastic. And we introduced the Endeavour space shuttle, and 600 kids came running in. It was cool. It was a big deal, people. Every council person, the mayor of Inglewood, who did these extraordinary things, he just said, this is worth doing, bring it through my town. Mayor Villaraigosa was there, and the governor came to dedicate this new facility. It was great. And I was the MC, man. It was good. It was not career ending. So as you may know, I've worked for many years to get young people excited about science so that we would have more scientists and especially engineers. That's my business for the future. So what we want to do is grow the Planetary Society, and that's where you come in. I was saying, the Planetary Society has been involved in these really unusual things in the space business for a long time. The first is we do make these crazy little projects, like you saw the light sail in there. There is a microphone on Mars, a Mars microphone. The downside of that bragging right is that it was on Mars Polar Lander, if you're familiar with that spacecraft. So it was carefully stored near the South Pole of Mars and probably this thick now. And I'll just tell you, we hope to launch another Mars microphone. There's a mission coming up that we hope to get on. It's very delicate. You can't tell NASA what to do, but we were hoping to get on this. It's a microphone that we funded the engineers and scientists to design and build. Tiny. Does anybody have a hearing aid? It's like a hearing aid microphone, only indestructible. Although, maybe not. Then we have a new education effort that we're working on because I'm here, trying to get people excited about the planet. Hurricane Sandy is going on. It's a huge deal, and the first evidence of the way planets are kept warm was by studying Venus. And you guys may or may not know, this is the 50th anniversary of interplanetary spaceflight. A spacecraft called Mariner 2 was launched in August of 1962, and right about now, in October of that year, through November, and then up to closest approach was, I believe, December 14th, Cape Canaveral time. It went by the planet Venus, and you may not know, it was a Ranger spacecraft. Anybody remember the Ranger? They landed on the lander. They had cameras, and they hit the moon, you could see the moon coming like this. So this is an anniversary in human history. We are the first generation of people that's able to explore our nearby world. And it's really a remarkable thing. It gives you an insight into what I call your place in space that you just don't get. No previous generation had it. He showed my father these pictures. He thinks you were crazy. He's like, he was talking. Maybe not that. But the guy flying by himself, all the planets lined up side by side in striking relative sizes. The other thing we do is we advocate, and this is a big deal. I don't know if you're involved you get in this, but the administration's budget compared with the congressional budget, compared with this mythical entity called the Office of Management and Budget, and the Office of Science and Technology Policy, they were going to cut the funding for planetary science about $309 million. I know to you that is nothing. And to the U.S. military, I think it's almost nothing, but that much money every year over 5 or 6 years, and you can't mount another mission, like Curiosity, for example. So we have been petitioning the Congress, the Senate, Office of Management and Budget, Science and Technology Policy, and now the President himself, to make sure this funding gets restored. And it is through the efforts of people like you, printing the letters, signing them. I was with Jen Vaughn, we were in Washington, D.C. on, was it Thursday after all? It was Friday.
It was Friday.
Friday, we delivered several thousand of your petitions to the Senate. And that is big fun, you guys. When you take it to the Senate, you have to have a very carefully worded cover letter. Every senator gets his or her own packet of letters, and you go to the to the Congressional Acceptance Office, which resembles to me very much a mobile home, parked right next to the U.S. Capitol. You go in and there's this thick plexiglass, you hold the letter up to the glass, they take a picture of it, they take a picture of your ID, they take a picture of the cover letter going this way, then you put it in plastic bags and they send it out someplace in Maryland to be irradiated for anthrax. Your tax dollars at work. And so it is going that extra effort. That's what we at the Planetary Society have done since the beginning. Now, Carl Sagan and Lou Friedman, my predecessor, and Bruce Murray, you may have ever heard of Bruce Murray. He was the head of the Jet Propulsion Lab during that heyday of Voyager and Viking, the first missions to Mars, and the missions took those pictures. And Ray Bradbury, science fiction writer, said, you guys got to do something. You've got to get together and do something. Public interest in space was very high, but government funding for it was not. This is in the year, in 79, 80, that winter. 1979. You know, this grand tour of the solar system, which was done by Voyager, could have been done during the Jefferson administration. Thomas Jefferson could have sent a space, but he didn't. He didn't do anything about it. Crazy. And the planets were aligned. Or set up, rather. And so I believe that right now we're at another crossroads. If public support of planetary exploration isn't pushed or directed at our administration and the Congress, we will lose this funding, and the United States, indeed the world, will lose the ability to land on Mars. And Mars is only one example. We also want to have a mission to Europa, right? We were at a thing at the National Geographic Society, an event last Wednesday in Washington, D.C., where they had the woman, Margie Kivelson, who, unlike many of us, designs magnetometers for spacecraft. And so the magnetometer in the Cassini mission, which is the mission that took that picture of Saturn, discovered a saltwater ocean on Europa. Yeah, what did you do today? Yeah. So, no, hold it. Saltwater ocean on, wait, must have been Enceladus. Bill, I thought you were the head of the Planetary Society. I just got confused. Sorry. And it's on video. My career's over. So anyway, these are extraordinary things that those of us who don't work in space, those of us who ignore the spacecraft, don't realize what astonishing discoveries we are making in the solar system. And these discoveries enrich us. These discoveries change us. Knowing that the Earth is round is of great value, not just when you're trying to drive someplace, but it gives you an appreciation for what I like to call your place in space. Knowing that there are other worlds with oceans changes the way you view your world. Watching the Curiosity rover accidentally land in a riverbed is just amazing. I mean, those guys, those people, in the next 2 years might find, I mean, I'm not trying to be crazy, they might find some layer of ancient, if you will, pond scum that is fossilized. If we found evidence of life on Mars, it would change this world. It would change the way, I mean, I hope we'd all still drive on the right. I mean, it's like, but it would change the world. And so this is why I've been a member all this time. This is why I took this job. And we would very much like your help. We very much need just a little bit of volunteer help once in a while to really push this message out so that humankind continues to explore. I mean, what does it say about you if you stop exploring? If you stop looking up and out, what does that say? I want to just stay home, love you. That's no good. You know what? No. And then people say, why are you sending these missions to these distant worlds? What are you going to find there? We don't know. That's why we're sending them. So it's a very exciting time in space exploration. If we can just turn this corner, there will be missions to Enceladus, to Europa, to Titan. And you know, they want to land a boat on the ocean of methane on Titan. I mean, these are just crazy ideas, but they're real. It's, and we are all part of it. So thank you all very much for coming. We hope you will support the Planetary Society. Join us, and we will work together to, dare I say it, change the world.
Yes.
Yay!
Have some potato chips. Really, have some happy sausages. Thank you all very much for coming.